The notification from Summer Stars Camp popped up on my phone while I was making dinner. My hands trembled as I read the message, sauce from the wooden spoon dripping onto my kitchen floor. The camp my boys had been looking forward to all year was cancelled due to unforeseen circumstances. The refund would be processed within 5 business days. I'm Brooke, and at 35, I thought I'd seen every possible way my family could disappoint me. I was wrong. "Mom, when are we going shopping for camp supplies?" Presley called from the living room, where he and Cameron were sprawled on the floor, making lists of everything they'd need. My heart sank. Just give me a minute, sweetie." I grabbed my phone and dialed my mother's number. She picked up on the 3rd ring. "Oh, Brooke, I was just about to call you," Mom said, her voice dripping with that sugary sweetness she reserved for delivering bad news. "About the boys' camp money. Why was it refunded?" I cut in, keeping my voice low so the kids wouldn't hear. "The camp just cancelled their enrollment. Well, you see, Juliana needed some extra funds for her Europe trip. The exchange rate has been terrible, and she's already committed to all these promotional posts. We couldn't let her miss out on—" "You took their camp money?" My voice cracked. "That was $3,000 I've been saving since last summer. Darling, we'll pay you back. Juliana's influencer career is really taking off, and this trip could be her big break. The boys can go to camp next year." I gripped the counter until my knuckles turned white. "Mom, they've been talking about this for months. Cameron already told his entire class. Presley's been practicing his swimming just to pass the deep-end test. They're young, they'll understand. Juliana needs this opportunity now. Put Dad on the phone. He's in his study. He agrees this is the best solution for everyone." Of course he did. He always did. Through the kitchen doorway, I could see my boys still working on their lists, completely unaware their summer dreams had just been crushed. Cameron was carefully drawing little checkboxes next to each item, while Presley explained why they needed extra batteries for their flashlights. "Mom," I said, my voice hardening, "that money was in my account. How did you even—" "You gave me your banking password last year for emergencies, remember?" "Sweetheart, this isn't a big deal. The boys can do day camps or something local." My free hand clenched into a fist. "You used my emergency access to steal from my children." "Don't be dramatic, Brooke. We're family. We help each other out." Just then, my phone buzzed with an Instagram notification. Juliana had posted a story. She was at the airport, designer luggage in tow, caption reading, "Off to create magic in Europe. J'aurais blessed aux influencer life, aus living my dreams." "I have to go," I said flatly, hanging up before Mom could respond. I walked to the living room, fighting back tears as I watched my boys' excitement. Cameron looked up at me with those bright eyes of his. "Mom, can we get the cool headlamps like Jake had last year?" Presley added quickly, and I found this awesome survival kit online. "Boys," I started, then had to clear my throat. "We need to talk about camp." Their faces fell before I even finished explaining. Cameron's lower lip trembled, while Presley just stared at his list, slowly crumpling it in his hands. "But we already told everyone," Cameron whispered. "I know, buddy, I'm so sorry. It's because of Aunt Juliana, isn't it?" Presley's voice was quiet but sharp. "Grandma always gives her everything." I wanted to defend my family, to make excuses like I always did. Instead, I pulled both boys into a tight hug. "I promise you," I said firmly, "I'm going to fix this." My phone buzzed again. Another notification from Juliana. A selfie in the first-class lounge, champagne glass in hand. Living my best life, so blessed to have such a supportive family. Just dreams come true. Something snapped inside me. For years, I'd watched my sister take and take, watched my parents enable her every whim, while my children and I scraped by. But stealing from my kids, that was my breaking point. I picked up my phone and texted Simone. "Remember that dirt you said you had on Juliana? I'm ready to use it, all of it." The response came instantly. "Finally, girl, let's burn it all down. Come over tonight." I looked at my boys, still clutching their ruined camp lists, and felt a cold resolve settle over me. Yes, I typed back. It's time someone taught my sister about consequences. Simone's apartment always smelled like vanilla and coffee, a comforting combination that usually helped calm my nerves. Not tonight. I paced her living room, clutching my phone while she scrolled through Juliana's social media accounts. Look at this, Simone said, turning her laptop screen toward me. Your sister tagged herself at the Four Seasons Paris. The presidential suite is €12,000 a night. I stopped pacing. What? And according to her stories, she's staying for a week. Simone raised an eyebrow. That's just one hotel, Brooke. There are 3 more cities on her itinerary. My boy's entire summer camp cost less than one night at that hotel. I sank onto her couch, feeling sick. How is she even affording this? She's not. Simone pulled up another screen. Remember Leandro from college? He's huge in the influencer world now. According to him, Juliana's been lying about her follower count and engagement rates. Half her followers are bots. My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification from Juliana. Having the most amazing dinner. Hard work pays off. Aus blessed lieu luxury. And earned, not given. Earned? I scoffed. She's never worked a day in her life. Simone set her laptop aside and leaned forward. That's exactly what we're going to expose. Leandro owes me a favor, and he's got nearly 2 million real followers. One post from him about influencer fraud. Would it be enough? I asked. Oh, honey, it's not just about the fraud. Simone grabbed her phone and started typing. Remember last Christmas when she claimed she bought everyone those designer gifts? I have the receipt showing your parents paid for everything. And that charity event she organized last spring. I've got proof she pocketed half the donations. My hand started shaking. I didn't know about that. Because she's careful, but not careful enough. Simone showed me a series of screenshots. She's been building this fake perfect life for years, and I've been keeping receipts. The question is, are you ready to use them? I thought about my boys, their crushed faces when I told them about camp. About years of watching Juliana get everything while my kids got leftovers. About my parents using my emergency account access to steal from their own grandchildren. What's the plan? Simone grinned. First, we need to talk to Leandro. He's in town this week. She typed something on her phone. He can meet us tomorrow at that quiet cafe near the park. Won't Juliana know something's up if he posts about her? That's the beauty of it. She's been trying to get his attention for months. She'll think she's finally made it. Simone paused. But Brooke, once we start this, there's no going back. Your parents will be furious. I pulled up the camp cancellation email on my phone. They already chose their side. Then let's make some calls. Simone grabbed her laptop again. While we wait for Leandro, I know someone who runs a smaller summer camp about an hour away. It's more affordable, and they might still have spots open. But I can't afford... Check your Venmo, Simone interrupted. I looked at my phone and gasped. She'd sent me $2,000. Before you argue, she said, holding up a hand, it's not charity. It's an investment in karma. Plus, you can pay me back once Juliana reimburses you. Simone, just promise me one thing, she said, her expression serious. When everything goes down, don't back out at the last minute. Your sister needs to learn she can't keep taking from others without consequences. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from my mother. Juliana's hotel upgraded her to an even better suite. Isn't it wonderful how things always work out for her? I showed Simone the message. Trust me, I said, I won't back out. We spent the next hour making calls and sending emails. By midnight, I had 2 tentative spots reserved at Cedar Lake Camp for the boys, pending deposit. It wasn't as fancy as Summer Stars, but it had the same activities and a better counselor-to-kid ratio. As I got ready to leave, Simone handed me a USB drive. Everything's on here. Screenshots, receipts, recordings. Leandro will know exactly how to use it for maximum impact. Thank you, I said, hugging her tight. I don't know what I'd do without you. Probably still be letting your family walk all over you, she replied with a wink. Now go home and get some sleep. Tomorrow, we start taking your sister's perfect life apart, one post at a time. Driving home, I felt lighter than I had in years. For once, I wasn't just accepting whatever scraps my family deigned to give me. I was fighting back. My phone pinged one last time. Leandro confirming our meeting for tomorrow. "Bring everything you've got," his message read. "Time to teach someone about real influence." I smiled. Juliana had no idea what was coming. Cedar Lake Camp's office was nothing like the sleek building at Summer Stars, but the director's enthusiasm made up for it. She led the boys around the facility while I finished the paperwork, their excitement growing with each new activity area they discovered. "Mom, they have a rock wall!" Cameron sprinted back to me, nearly tripping over his untied shoelaces. "And Presley saw the art cabin. They do pottery." The director, Sarah, smiled warmly. "We also have a talent show at the end of each session. Last year, one group made a short film." Presley's eyes lit up. He'd been making videos on my old phone since he was 6. "Can we really stay here, Mom?" "Already paid the deposit," I said, signing the last form. The relief in their faces made my heart ache. They'd been trying so hard to hide their disappointment about Summer Stars. My phone vibrated, Simone reminding me about our meeting with Leandro. "Boys, we need to head out. Say thank you to Ms. Sarah." On the drive home, they chatted non-stop about their plans for camp. I barely noticed my phone pinging with Juliana's latest updates until Presley mentioned it. "Is Aunt Juliana still posting about her fancy trip?" he asked, his voice carrying that edge of hurt again. I glanced at the notification. "Having the most incredible time. So grateful for all the sacrifices my family made to help me achieve my dreams." Blessed Church's hard work. Family first. "Pull over," Presley said suddenly. "What's wrong?" "Just, please." I guided the car into a strip mall parking lot. Presley unbuckled his seatbelt and leaned forward. "I saw the bank alert on your phone yesterday," he said quietly. "The one about the transfer to Aunt Juliana. That was our camp money, wasn't it?" Sometimes I forgot he was only 10. He noticed too much, understood too much. "Yes," I admitted, "but it's being handled." "Are you going to do something bad?" Cameron piped up from the back seat. "Not bad," I said carefully. "Just true. Sometimes the truth feels like punishment to people who've been lying." Presley nodded solemnly. "Good. She deserves it." The cafe where we were meeting Leandro was busy enough to provide privacy, but quiet enough for conversation. He stood out even in casual clothes, tall, impeccably groomed, with the kind of presence that drew attention without trying. "Brooke," he said, air-kissing both cheeks, "you look exactly the same as college. And Simone, my favorite whistleblower." We settled into a corner booth. I pulled out the USB drive while Simone ordered coffees. "So," Leandro said, "show me what you've got on baby sister." I connected the drive to his laptop. "Everything's organized by date. The charity fraud is in the red folder." His eyebrows rose as he scrolled through the files. "Oh, this is delicious. Look at these bank statements. She's been funneling donation money through 3 different accounts." "Keep going," Simone urged. "Show him the sponsorship scams." Leandro's eyes widened. "She's been charging small businesses for promotions and never posting them, while claiming she does it all for free." "There's more," I said. "The follower counts, the fake engagement." "Stop," he held up a hand. "I've seen enough. This isn't just influencer drama anymore. This is actual fraud." My stomach tightened. "Is that a problem?" "On the contrary." He smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "It's perfect. I've been looking for a story to launch my series on influencer accountability. Your sister's going to be my case study." "How long?" I asked. "Give me 3 days to compile everything. We'll start with subtle hints about a big exposé coming. Get people curious. Then, when she's at peak smugness about her European adventure..." "We destroy her," Simone finished. Leandro nodded. "But Brooke, are you absolutely sure? This won't just affect her social media. She could face real consequences." I thought about my boys, their faces lighting up at Cedar Lake. about years of watching Juliana take and take while they went without. Do it, I said. She stole from my children. Let her face whatever comes. Then we have a deal. He closed his laptop. Send me anything else you find. And Brooke, don't tip her off. Let her keep posting about her blessed life. It'll make the fall that much harder. As if on cue, my phone lit up with another notification. Juliana, in a designer dress, posed in front of the Eiffel Tower. Living proof that dreams come true if you work hard enough. Our so blessed, archie manifest, archie's grateful. I showed it to Leandro. He smirked. Perfect. Keep them coming, princess. You're writing your own takedown. Walking back to my car, I felt a mix of excitement and dread. In 3 days, my sister's carefully curated life would shatter, and I couldn't wait. My mother's surprise visit 2 days before Leandro's planned exposé nearly gave me a heart attack. She breezed into my kitchen carrying shopping bags while I was preparing dinner. I brought the boys some consolation gifts, she announced, setting the bags on my counter. Just a few things to make up for the camp situation. I stirred the pasta sauce with more force than necessary. They don't need gifts, Mom. They needed their camp. Oh, speaking of that, she pulled out her phone. Have you seen Juliana's latest posts? She's having dinner with this amazing fashion designer in Milan. This trip is really opening doors for her. How nice, I said flatly. I'm sure the boys will be thrilled to hear about Aunt Juliana's networking opportunities while they... Mom! Presley's voice carried from the living room. Grandma's here. Both boys rushed in, but their enthusiasm dimmed when they saw the shopping bags. Cameron hung back while Presley crossed his arms. We don't want presents, he said firmly. Mom's smile faltered. Don't be silly. Look, I got you those new gaming controllers you wanted and the ones we asked for at Christmas. Presley's voice cracked. The ones you said were too expensive, right before you bought Aunt Juliana that designer purse. Presley, I warned, but my heart wasn't in it. No, Mom, it's not fair. He grabbed his phone from his pocket. Look what she posted today. The video showed Juliana twirling in front of a mirror, wearing a dress that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage payment. The caption read, When your family believes in you so much they help make your dreams come true, forever grateful. Nana blessed nurtured family support, Nana living my best life. Isn't she doing wonderfully? Mom beamed. The brand partnerships she's getting are built on lies, I muttered. What was that? Nothing. I turned off the stove. Boys, go wash up for dinner. But Grandma, Cameron started. Now, please. Once they left, Mom started unpacking the bags. I don't understand why they're being so difficult. These are very nice gifts. Maybe because they're tired of being second choice. I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. Of watching their aunt get everything while they get whatever's left. That's not fair, Brooke. We support both of you. Really? I pulled out my phone. Should we go through my bank statements? Show exactly how you support us? Mom's face hardened. You're just jealous of your sister's success. She's building something real, while you... While I what? Work a real job, take care of my kids, don't scam people online. Scam? She laughed. Juliana works very hard on her content. My phone buzzed. A text from Leandro. Everything's ready. Dropping first hint tomorrow. You sure about this? Mom, I said, putting my phone away. You should probably head home. The boys need to finish their homework before bed. Fine. She pushed the shopping bags toward me. At least give them the gifts, and try to be happy for your sister. She's finally finding her path. After she left, I found the boys in Presley's room, huddled over his tablet. Look what Leandro posted, Presley said excitedly. The post was subtle but clear. Working on a huge story about influencer fraud. Someone's perfect life is about to crumble. Stay tuned. Darker truth coming. Josh influencer exposed. Is that about Aunt Juliana? Cameron asked. I sat on the bed between them. Boys, something's going to happen soon. People might say mean things about our family. Are you okay with that? Presley nodded immediately. Cameron hesitated. Will Grandma and Grandpa be mad at us? he asked in a small voice. Probably, I admitted, but sometimes doing the right thing means making people angry. Like when I told on Jake for cheating on the math test? Cameron's face brightened. He was mad, but Mrs. Roberts said I did the right thing. Exactly like that. My phone lit up with another notification. Juliana, lounging by a rooftop pool. Another perfect day in paradise. Remember, you can manifest anything if you're willing to work for it. Blessed Chuckya hard work Chuck deserved. Presley made a disgusted noise. Can we block her? Not yet, I said, pulling both boys close. But soon. Very soon. Later that night, I texted Leandro. I'm sure, do it. His response came quickly. Get ready. Tomorrow we start the countdown to your sister's reality check. I went to bed feeling strangely calm. In less than 48 hours, Juliana's carefully constructed house of cards would collapse. And for once, I didn't feel guilty about being the one to blow it down. Leandro's first post dropped at exactly noon, while Juliana was posting stories from a yacht off the Italian coast. My hands shook as I watched the view count climb. Influencer fraud isn't new, his video began, but stealing from children, that's a special kind of low. Stay tuned for the full story of how one self-made influencer built her empire on lies and family theft. Influencer fraud, anew exposed. Within minutes, the speculation started. Simone called, practically screaming. It's trending. People are already guessing it's about Juliana. Look at the comments. I opened the post again. Thousands of comments had poured in. Is this about that Blair girl who's always posting about manifesting wealth? OMG, I bet it's Juliana. Her numbers never made sense. Spill the tea already. My phone rang again. Mom. Have you seen what people are saying about your sister online? She demanded. Someone's trying to ruin her career. You need to defend her. Why? I kept my voice steady. She's living her best life, remember? Working hard, manifesting success. Brooke, this is serious. She could lose sponsorships. Like the charity money she lost, or my kids' camp funds. Silence. Then, what did you do? Before I could answer, Leandro's second post appeared. A series of screenshots showing transfer records from various charity events, with personal information blurred, but Juliana's name clearly visible. Proof that influencer donations don't always reach their intended recipients. Part 1 of 5. Honor receipts. Socks exposed. Hanur influencer scam. My mother gasped. Those are private records. You gave them to him, didn't you? Goodbye, Mum. I hung up as Simone sent another text. Check his stories. Leandro had started a countdown, releasing small bits of evidence every hour. Bank statements showing the camp money transfer. Screenshots of Juliana's bot buying history. Direct messages from small businesses she'd scammed. By mid-afternoon, bot Juliana Blair was trending. Her latest yacht photo was flooded with comments. How many kids' dreams did you steal for this trip? Return the charity money. Fraud queen exposed. Juliana seemed oblivious, still posting carefree stories about her manifested lifestyle. Then Leandro dropped the bomb, a video compilation. It started with Juliana's posts about working hard and earning everything, then cut to evidence of her parents funding her lifestyle. It showed her claiming to organize charity events, followed by proof she'd pocketed donations. It ended with her recent posts about family support, contrasted with the documents showing she'd stolen from her own nephews. My phone exploded with notifications. Juliana's sponsors began publicly distancing themselves. Her follower count started dropping by thousands. Then came the message from my father. Your mother is in tears. How could you do this to your own sister? I typed back, how could you steal from your own grandchildren? No response. Simone arrived at my house just as Leandro posted the final piece. An interview with 3 small business owners Juliana had scammed. This is better than I imagined, Simone said, watching the chaos unfold on her laptop. She's losing followers so fast the count can't keep up. My hands were shaking. What if we went too far? Too far? Simone turned her screen toward me. Look at her latest post. Juliana still on that yacht, champagne in hand. Unbothered by haters. You can't dim my light. Wayne blessed, Amri unstoppable. Ein essay, truth will prevail. She still doesn't get it, I whispered. She will. Simone refreshed the page. Leandro's about to go live with the full story. We watched as he methodically laid out everything. The years of fraud, the stolen money, the fake followers, the charity scams. He ended with a simple statement. To the influencer in question, your time of taking advantage of others is over. To her family who enabled this behavior, shame on you for sacrificing innocent children's dreams to fund this facade. My phone lit up with a text from Presley. Mom, everyone at school is talking about Aunt Juliana. Are you okay? I replied. I'm fine, honey. How are you feeling? Good. Cameron says it's like in his superhero movies when the bad guy finally gets caught. Simone squeezed my hand as we watched Juliana's follower count continue to plummet. No turning back now. No, I agreed, just as my phone buzzed with a notification I'd been dreading. A private message from Juliana. How could you do this to me? I'm your sister. Call me now. I showed Simone the message. She raised an eyebrow. Are you going to? Not yet. I turned off my phone. Let her feel what it's like to have everything taken away first, just like my boys did. Outside, a summer storm was brewing. Somehow, it felt appropriate. Juliana's meltdown started at 3 a.m. Paris time. My phone exploded with notifications, calls, texts, voice messages. I watched them pile up while sitting in my darkened kitchen, hands wrapped around a cold cup of coffee. You've ruined everything. Her first voice message crackled with rage. The luxury living brand just cancelled our contract. That was worth $50,000. Delete. Mum and Dad can't believe you'd do this to your own sister. Delete. Answer your phone, you jealous bitch. Delete. Simone's text cut through the chaos. Turn on TMZ's website. There it was. My sister's face splashed across their homepage. Influencer exposed. Social media star caught in massive fraud scandal. My phone rang again. Juliana FaceTiming now. This time, I answered. Her face filled the screen, makeup streaked with tears, the luxury hotel room visible behind her. How could you? Everything I worked for, I cut in. Like how my boys worked and saved for their camp. That money was an investment in my future. I was going to pay it back. With what? The charity money you stole? Or the sponsorship deals you faked? She wiped at her eyes, smearing mascara across her cheek. You don't understand how this industry works. Everyone does it. Everyone steals from children. Stop saying that. It wasn't stealing, it was borrowing. And now... Fresh tears spilled. The Four Seasons just asked me to leave. My cards are declined. I can't even pay for another hotel. Sounds like a real problem, I said coldly. Maybe try manifesting a solution. That's what you're always preaching about, right? This isn't a joke, Brooke. I'm stranded in Paris. No, you're experiencing consequences. There's a difference. Her face hardened. Mum and Dad will help me, they always do. Check their accounts, I suggested. Leandro's exposé included their banking records. Everyone knows they funded your fake lifestyle now. Think they can afford another bailout with all this public scrutiny? She went pale. You exposed them too? Our own parents? They chose their side. My voice cracked slightly. Every time they picked you over my children, they chose this outcome. Your children? She laughed bitterly. This was never about them. You've always been jealous of me. Admit it. You loved watching me fall. No, Juliana. I loved watching justice happen. A notification popped up. Another major brand publicly cutting ties with her. She saw it too, her face crumpling. What am I supposed to do now? She whispered. Get a real job. Pay back the people you scammed. Take responsibility for once in your life. I hate you, she spat. You're no sister of mine. You're right about that. A real sister wouldn't steal from her nephews. A real sister would. Those brats will get over it. It was just some stupid camp. I heard movement behind me and turned. Presley stood in the doorway, Cameron half hidden behind him. They'd heard everything. Say that again, I told Juliana, turning the phone so she could see them. Tell your nephews to their faces that their dreams don't matter. She faltered. Boys, I didn't mean. We heard you, Presley said quietly. We've always heard you, Aunt Juliana. Every time you called us brats behind Mom's back. Every time you complained about having to buy us birthday presents. Cameron stepped forward. We saw the video of you laughing about taking our camp money. You were drinking champagne and saying we'd never know the difference. Juliana's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. Boys, I started, but Presley shook his head. It's okay, Mum. We're glad you told the truth about her. He looked directly at the phone. You're not a good person, Aunt Juliana, and we don't want your fake apologies. They turned and left, holding hands like they used to when they were smaller. On the screen, Juliana had gone very still. Those brats have more integrity than you'll ever have, I said softly. Remember that while you're figuring out how to get home from Paris. Brooke, wait. I ended the call and blocked her number. My phone immediately lit up with texts from my parents, but I blocked them too. Then I went upstairs and found my boys curled up together in Presley's bed. You okay? I asked. Are you? Presley countered. I thought about it. Yeah, I think I really am. Cameron yawned. Good. Can we have pancakes for breakfast? I smiled. With extra chocolate chips. As I tucked them in, I realized something. The knot of anger I'd carried for years was finally starting to unravel. In its place was something lighter, freer. It felt like justice. It felt like peace. 3 days after the exposé, my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Juliana standing there, looking nothing like her polished social media persona. Her hair was unwashed, her designer clothes replaced with sweats, dark circles under her eyes. Before you slam the door, she said quickly, I just want to talk. The boys are home. I know. I want to talk to them too. She hugged herself, looking small. Please, Brooke. I left her standing on the porch while I consulted my sons. They agreed, but only if I stayed in the room. When we settled in the living room, the silence was deafening. Juliana perched on the edge of the couch like she might bolt at any moment. I had to borrow money from a friend to fly home, she finally said. First class to economy. Quite a downgrade. Is that supposed to make us feel bad for you? Presley asked. She flinched. No, I'm trying to explain how much has changed. All my sponsors dropped me. My apartment lease was under review because of the fraud allegations. I had to move back in with Mum and Dad. How are they? I kept my voice neutral. Dad's facing questions at work about the charity money. Mum won't stop crying. She twisted her hands together. They're not speaking to me. Cameron, who'd been quiet until now, spoke up. Did you really laugh about taking our camp money? Tears spilled down her cheeks. Yes, and I'm so sorry. I got caught up in this world where everything was about appearances, where having the right clothes and taking the right photos mattered more than being a good person. That's not an excuse, Presley said. You're right. She wiped her eyes. There is no excuse. I became someone I hate, and I hurt the people who matter most. What about the charities? I asked. The small businesses you scammed? I'm meeting with a lawyer tomorrow, going to work out a repayment plan. She gave a hollow laugh. Turns out I might need one of those real jobs I always mocked you for having. The boys exchanged looks. Cameron nodded at something unspoken. We're going to a different camp now, he told Juliana. One that's better anyway. They have a rock wall. And a talent show, Presley added. So you didn't really ruin anything. You just showed us who you are. Fresh tears fell. I want to be better, Juliana whispered. I don't know how, but I want to try. Actions, not words, I said. Start by paying back everything you took, all of it. I will, I promise. She reached for her phone, then stopped herself. Sorry. Force of habit. I keep wanting to post about this, make it part of my redemption story. But that's the old me, right? The fake me. The real you has a lot of work to do, I said. She nodded. I know, and there's something else you should know. Mum and Dad, they didn't just enable me, they encouraged it. Every time I doubted myself, they pushed me to take more, be more aggressive. They said it was my destiny to be special. While telling my kids to be realistic about their dreams, I added bitterly, they were wrong. About everything. She stood up. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I understand what I did, and I'm going to spend a long time making up for it. As she headed for the door, Cameron called out, Aunt Juliana? She turned, hope flickering across her face. When you get a real job, he said, maybe you can start saving up. Then next summer you could help pay for our camp. For real this time. A genuine smile, the first I'd seen from her in years, crossed her face. I'd like that, Cameron. Thank you. After she left, Presley asked, Did you believe her? I believe she's scared and sorry, I said carefully. But real change takes time. We'll see. My phone buzzed. A news alert about Juliana. She'd posted a single tweet, her first social media activity since the scandal. I apologize for my actions. No excuses. Taking time away to become someone worthy of trust again. All accounts will be deleted as of tonight. Minutes later, her profile started disappearing. No dramatic farewell posts, no promises of comeback stories. Just gone. Mom? Cameron tugged my sleeve. Are we going to forgive Grandma and Grandpa too? I pulled him close. That's more complicated, honey. Sometimes grown-ups make choices that take a long time to forgive, like stealing our camp money? Like choosing favorites instead of loving everyone equally. Presley joined our hug. We don't need them. We have you. Outside, a moving truck pulled up to Juliana's apartment building, another piece of her carefully constructed life being dismantled. But maybe, I thought, something real could grow from the ruins. The last day of Cedar Lake Camp arrived with perfect summer weather. I sat in the audience with other parents, watching the end-of-session talent show. Presley's short film about friendship was up next, and Cameron had helped with the soundtrack. My phone buzzed. A text from Juliana. Started my new job today. First paycheck coming next week. Setting up automatic transfers for the boys' restitution fund. Before I could reply, Simone slid into the seat next to me. Sorry I'm late, did I miss it? Just in time, I whispered as Presley's film began playing on the big screen. The audience laughed at all the right moments, gasped at the plot twist, and burst into applause at the end. I caught sight of my son backstage, beaming with pride. Cameron gave him a thumbs up from the sound booth. They're thriving here, Simone observed. Way better than that overpriced Summer Stars place. She was right. The boys had made real friends, learned new skills, and grown more confident. Sometimes the worst moments in life lead to the best outcomes. Another text came through. My mother this time. I'd unblocked my parents last week, setting strict boundaries for any future contact. Your father and I are in counseling, she wrote. We're learning about enabling behavior and favoritism. I know it doesn't fix anything, but we're trying to understand where we went wrong. I showed Simone the message. She squeezed my hand. You don't have to respond. I know. I put the phone away as Cameron joined his brother on stage for the closing ceremony. The camp director handed out awards. When she announced Best Short Film, Presley practically floated to the podium. Then came Outstanding Technical Achievement for Cameron's sound design. Mom, they called in unison, waving their certificates. Look, I caught Simone wiping away tears. Shut up, she muttered when I smirked. I'm just allergic to adorable moments. After the ceremony, while the boys said goodbye to their friends, my phone buzzed one final time. A message from Leandro with a link. Thought you should see this. It was Juliana's first blog post since the scandal, on a simple website without ads or sponsorships. Today I started my job as an administrative assistant at a local charity. The irony isn't lost on me. My desk faces a wall of photos showing all the children they've helped. Children who could have benefited from the money I stole for my fake lifestyle. My nephews are at summer camp today. Not the expensive one they originally planned for, but one that turned out to be perfect for them. They're thriving there, proving that authentic experiences matter more than prestigious names and Instagram opportunities. I'm not asking for sympathy or trying to rebuild my influence. I'm simply documenting my journey toward becoming someone worthy of trust again. Someone who contributes rather than takes. To everyone I hurt, I'm sorry. To my sister, thank you for the wake-up call I desperately needed. To my nephews, I hope one day you'll be proud to call me your aunt again. This is my only platform now. No comments, no likes, no followers, just truth. Mom? Cameron tugged at my sleeve. Can we get ice cream? I looked up from my phone to find both boys loaded down with address exchanges and friendship bracelets. Actually, I said, I have a better idea. Want to visit Aunt Juliana at her new job? We could bring her ice cream too. They exchanged glances, then nodded. But first, Presley said, can we watch my film again? The camp director said they want to use it for their website. As we gathered our things, I sent a quick reply to my mother. The boys have their end-of-camp showcase next weekend. You and Dad can come, but only if you're ready to see them for who they are, not who you want them to be. Her response was immediate. We'll be there. In the back row, no pressure on the boys to interact if they're not comfortable. It wasn't perfect, nothing ever is, but it was real, messy and complicated and healing all at once. Race you to the car, Cameron shouted, taking off with Presley close behind. Simone linked her arm through mine as we followed at a more dignified pace. You know what this means, right? What? Your revenge plot accidentally fixed your whole family. I laughed. I wouldn't say fixed, more like reset. Now we all have to do the hard work of building something authentic. Starting with ice cream. Ahead of us, the boys were already planning their next summer at Cedar Lake, talking about new films and music projects. Their excitement was real, their joy authentic. No hashtags needed. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's reconstruction, building something better from the ruins of what was fake. And sometimes that's enough.